India, a land of vibrant diversity, finds itself grappling with the specter of a changing demography. Whispers travel through crowded bazaars and echo in the hallowed halls of power, whispering of a Muslim population explosion. This narrative, fueled by anxieties and prejudices, has taken root in the public imagination, shaping perceptions and influencing policies. It's a narrative that demands our attention, our scrutiny, and our refusal to accept easy answers. The narrative is seductive in its simplicity. It paints a picture of a community multiplying at an alarming rate, threatening to engulf the nation's Hindu majority. This narrative finds fertile ground in a society already grappling with communal tensions and historical baggage. The specter of a Muslim takeover is a potent tool used to stoke fear and consolidate power. But what is the truth behind these whispers? Is India truly on the verge of a demographic earthquake, or are we witnessing the birth of a carefully constructed myth? The answer, as with most things, lies buried beneath layers of perception, prejudice, and political expediency. To unearth it, we must embark on a journey through the labyrinth of statistics, narratives, and lived realities. A journey that will challenge our assumptions and force us to confront uncomfortable truths. This is not merely an academic exercise. The consequences of this narrative are real, tangible, and deeply unsettling. From discriminatory policies to targeted violence, the fear of a Muslim demographic explosion has cast a long shadow over India's social fabric. To understand the present and safeguard the future, we must confront the narrative, unpack its complexities, and reclaim the power of truth. Official numbers and unofficial concerns. The Indian government, through its census and various demographic surveys, has consistently presented data on the country's religious composition. These reports paint a picture of a nation where Hindus constitute the overwhelming majority, with Muslims representing a significant minority. The data suggests a steady, albeit gradually slowing, growth rate for the Muslim population. However, these official figures have been met with skepticism and outright rejection from certain quarters. The narrative of a Muslim population explosion persists, fueled by anecdotal evidence, selectively chosen statistics, and a general distrust of government data. This skepticism often stems from a deep-seated anxiety about the changing social landscape, an anxiety that is readily exploited for political gain. The narrative of a Muslim population takeover often relies on highlighting the higher fertility rates among Muslims compared to other religious groups. While these differences in fertility rates are undeniable, they are often presented without the crucial context of overall population trends. The reality is that fertility rates across all religious groups in India are declining, including among Muslims. This crucial detail is conveniently ignored by those seeking to perpetuate the narrative of a looming demographic threat. The focus on fertility rates, without accounting for the broader demographic trends, creates a distorted picture. It fuels a sense of urgency, a feeling that something must be done to stem the tide of this perceived demographic shift. This sense of urgency is then skillfully channeled into support for policies that target and marginalize the Muslim community, further deepening existing societal fissures. Contested truths, independent voices speak. While the official narrative emphasizes a gradual and controlled demographic change, independent researchers and analysts offer a more nuanced perspective. They argue that focusing solely on fertility rates paints an incomplete picture, overlooking crucial factors like interreligious marriages, conversions, and migration patterns. These independent voices emphasize the need for a more holistic understanding of demographic trends, one that goes beyond simplistic comparisons of birth rates. Arguing that religious identity is not a static monolith, but a fluid and evolving aspect of individual and communal lives. Their research often highlights the role of socioeconomic factors in shaping demographic trends. For instance, they point to the correlation between poverty and higher fertility rates, a phenomenon observed across religious groups. This suggests that addressing issues like poverty and lack of access to education and healthcare could have a more significant impact on population growth than simply targeting specific communities. The work of these independent researchers, while often drowned out by the dominant narrative, provides a crucial counterpoint. They challenge us to move beyond simplistic explanations and engage with the complexities of social change. Their voices remind us that demographic trends are not predetermined destinies, but rather the product of a complex interplay of social, economic, and political forces. The narrative of a Muslim population explosion is not merely a statistical debate. The narrative is skillfully woven into the fabric of political discourse, becoming a rallying cry for those seeking to consolidate power by appealing to the basest instincts of the electorate. The fear of becoming a minority in one's own land is a powerful motivator. It taps into deep-seated insecurities about identity, belonging, and the future. This fear is then skillfully manipulated, with the Muslim community being painted as the other, a threat to the established social order. The narrative finds fertile ground in a society grappling with historical baggage and unresolved communal tensions. Centuries of colonial rule, followed by the trauma of partition, have left deep scars on the Indian psyche. These historical wounds are easily reopened, with the narrative of a Muslim demographic threat serving as salt on old wounds. The political exploitation of this narrative is a dangerous game. It normalizes prejudice, legitimizes discrimination, and creates a climate of fear and suspicion. The consequences are tangible, manifesting in discriminatory policies, targeted violence, and a gradual erosion of the secular fabric of Indian society. History offers a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked narratives. The world has witnessed countless instances where fear-mongering and the demonization of specific communities have paved the way for violence and genocide. The Holocaust, the Rwandan genocide, and the Bosnian War stand as stark reminders of the human cost of unchecked prejudice. The narrative dehumanizes an entire community, portraying them as a monolithic entity defined solely by their religion. It strips individuals of their individuality, their humanity, and their right to exist without fear. This dehumanization creates a fertile ground for violence, as those who subscribe to the narrative see themselves not as harming fellow human beings, but as eliminating a threat. We must be vigilant, recognizing the dangerous potential of unchecked narratives and actively challenging them. Until next time, like, share, and subscribe.